The Borderlands series is largely regarded as one of the best co-op shooters available. Its goofy charm, breathtaking cel-shaded art style, and addicting looting mechanics all combine to create some of the most beloved and unforgettable gaming experiences of all time. But it may be time for the franchise to shake things up a little. The first game pioneered the contemporary co-op shooting experience, and Borderlands 2 polished it. Borderlands 3 felt a little too samey for some fans. Not to mention, the writing was a bit subpar compared to the first two games. If and when Borderlands 4 is released, it may be time for the franchise to explore outside of its comfort zone, with better writing, new movement systems, and a true open world. Open-world games have long been a cornerstone of the gaming industry, with Far Cry 3 contributing to the growth of the genre in 2012. Since then, open-world games have flooded the market, and although there's nothing worse than a half-baked, empty open-world game, the Borderlands franchise could actually fit quite well into it. And it's not a bad direction for Borderlands 4 to go in. This series already borrows a lot of elements from the open-world genre. Players are frequently dropped into very wide open zones, some of which require a vehicle to navigate, and they can pick up a variety of quests from around the area. Its ever-changing loot system is similarly reminiscent of open-world games, with players continuously obtaining better items through exploration and progression. But the Borderlands games have never quite been considered full open-world titles. There are several possible advantages to going fully open world. Increasing immersion in the game's universe is one of them. Loading screens are generally absent in huge open world games. One of the most annoying aspects of the original Borderlands games is the many loading screens that appear whenever the player fast travels or reaches a new region. Loading screens might take a long time and dragged players out of the game for a minute or two. A truly open world would eliminate the need for players to sit behind loading screens, allowing them to be totally involved in the game. A fully open world would also help to make the map feel a bit more dynamic. In past games, gameplay would often just involve the player receiving a quest, traveling toward the objective, and seeing very little along the way. Going full open world could allow for more events to happen in the open world, like we have seen in Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example, such as different groups of raiders and psychos fighting each other by themselves. In Borderlands 3, players could travel to various planets, each with its own distinct feel. By embracing entirely open world, Borderlands 4 risks looking too similar, because the areas must remain genuine and naturally linked together. Keeping each environment separate allows Borderlands 4 to get creative with its areas, giving each one unique hazards, enemies, and structures. Variety has always been at the heart of the Borderlands series, and it would be a shame to lose that in exchange for a mediocre open world. I very much enjoyed how Tiny Tina's Wonderlands handled the fast travel mechanics by giving the player an overworld to quickly maneuver from point A to B, and adding encounters and little side quests to do along the way. However, once you finish the game, this quickly became old and there really wasn't any point for you to go from A to B in this way anymore, thus making it feel redundant and empty. It therefore would make sense if Gearbox ultimately stuck to its strengths. But nevertheless, an open world is at least worth considering for Borderlands 4. That said, subscribe to the channel, jump in your Outriders, and catch a ride!